Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up this screen. Oh, the third quarter numbers for CYBL Cybr are looking good. Our short volume's up quite a bit too. We're going to talk about that, but let's get into what's going on with the economy. Yeah, it was another crap day in the economy. Look, we're so headed into, we're already in a recession. That's the reality. They're calling it something else. But Jamie Dimon, as you can see right here, he says, this is serious. JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon warns U.S. likely to tip into recession in 6 to 9 months. We're already there. Paul Tudor Jones believes we're in or near recession, says stocks have not bottomed. Then Kathy Wood's freaking out. She's telling the Fed, you're going to kill us. And, she's been struggling with her stocks. And we're at a 2-year low, which is charming. No, I can't understand it. All we've done is print over $5 trillion worth of money the last 2 or 3 years and paid people not to work and done things like that. So how could that possibly cause problems? I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't you just be able to print money over and over and over and everything's okay? They do it in Venezuela all the time. And look at that Shangri-La. So I don't get it. I would think we'd be killing it. But for some reason, we're not. All right, got some important news from CYBL. Says their team is excited. Let me pull that up bigger. Says our team is excited to report the preliminary third quarter revenue, $8.6 million. That is a very nice quarter. A little bit better in the second quarter, which was phenomenal. I just think this is great.
Show me the money!
It exceeds the plan by 15%. It's 5% growth quarter over quarter, and that's really hard to do. Year over year is one thing. Year over year will be huge. But quarter over quarter is difficult, especially after that huge second quarter. Says they'll release the official press release with the Q3 reporting. So they expect OTC market and audit status soon, and that's been the big issue. As you folks know, CYBL is a pink limited information stock. And that's really the issue, and that's why this stock's getting held down quite a bit. Plus, the economy's in the crapper. It's just not doing well at all.
Merry Christmas! Dinner was full!
Yeah. It's full. The economy's full of that. Anyway, it's still got pink limited, and we know that they've sent all this stuff in. Let me show you. This market cap's at $62 million. We're going to go over why that's low. I'll just use the word low. Here you can see they've sent in the attorney letter. They've redone the last 2 years. They did 20 and 21 with the OTC, with the OCT documents as opposed to SEC, which they had been using to report. And they're using their template is what I believe the word they used. So they've already redone both years and the first 2 quarters this year. So it's just a matter of time, I would think, but we'll see. But it's definitely hurt this stock. You never want to see yield on a OTC stock. That's dangerous. And when you sit here and look at the second quarter, they did 8.3 million, so they've exceeded that. And look at the profit that they had. They had over $2.5 million in profit, 2.65, after their expenses of research and development, general administrative, etc. They've made a really nice profit. Now, I'm not counting this gain on a stock return to Treasury. I'm just counting this 2.65 minus the interest, so 2.55 basically, which is really strong on $8 million. So if we see something similar to that, that's really, really good. Because if you multiply, let's say it's 2.5 again, and they keep repeating that and doing even better, that's $10 million. Divide that into $60 million market cap, you're looking at a P ratio, a forward P ratio of what, 6? That's a super value stock, and you don't see that in the OTC, and this thing's growing like a weed. Man, it's growing year over year. You look at this, I mean, it's really strong. They went from 367,000 to 8.3 million. And my understanding, what I saw on StockTwits and some other things, is that the drones are really taking off, and they are in various forms of defense, and they sell a lot of products to the Defense Department. And so seeing those drones being used is pretty impressive. Now, as we look at this stock, let me draw these lines in a little bit further here, see where we're sitting. And this is the corridor that I've been buying at. Let me make sure those are dead steady. Yeah, good enough. right in this area right here, which is between 1 cent and 1.1 cent is where I've been picking up. I bought back in here, and whenever it dips in here, this is where I like to add. I think I added some here the other day. And if this thing were to drop down in here, I would just add a little bit more. Now, I'm not going to go crazy because this is an OTC stock, plus it's got the yield sign. Now, if that yield sign goes away, I expect this thing to pop up, and I might take some profit. I might do that. That would make a lot of sense with an OTC stock because, you know, then in this market, with this economy and everything that's going on, it's hard to feel good about a whole lot of anything. But, man, when I look at the fundamentals of this and the money they're making, a year and a half ago, this thing would be skyrocketing. But we are not in that world anymore.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Nope, definitely. We're not in Kansas anymore. We're in some other world. Now, let's take a look at the short volume of CYBL. And as you can see, we're hanging around almost 60% short volume. So of all these shares, good grief, over half of them are people shorting this stock. So they're trying to push it way down. And I've explained this a lot, but if you're new to this channel and you've never had shorting explained to you, what they do is they basically rent shares that are being held long-term. They give folks a little bit of money, pay them for that, and then they run off and they sell the stock real quick and put downward pressure on the stock. And their goal is to push it down, try to buy it back at the lower point. So they sell it here, try to push it down, and then that's their profit right there. That's how they make their dollar. And then they have to run back and return to the original owner. And that's how shorting works. So you're going to see them on social media and places like that. They're going to try to rip the stock because not only are they putting the downward pressure by selling it, but they want people to be scared. And with the yield sign, that's pretty easy to do. Not to mention our economy is very shaky and we keep spending money. We can't stop printing money. It's just an addiction. And I don't think it's going to stop. I really don't. All right, folks, and that's just a short update on CYBL. I think it's looking pretty good. That's my opinion, but, you know, it's your money. You do as you please. You know, I'm just watching it very closely. If it goes down that corridor, I might add a little bit more. But I like it long term. They keep doing these numbers. I think it'll take care of itself over time. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover CYBL. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investor.